So as if the fact that EA is absolutely unapologetic about how horrendously bad this entire debacle of SimCity has been. A debacle, I might add, that could be quite avoidable if they had had sensible security measures set in place, and if, when they shut down the servers, you get to keep the game that you actually paid for. Oh no, but we can't have people playing offline. I mean, we see, this is another illustration of exactly why I said that I don't agree with the idea that we have to integrate multiplayer into single player and get rid of offline single player. Can you even begin to grasp now how absolutely right I was about that, and how we have a living example of the worst of what I had feared about this entire situation here? Can you imagine this happening on PS4? Day one, digital download streaming from the clouds, except for the stream can't get through, or the stream can get through, but it can't go back up to the cloud server for authentication because pirates. And then you can't play your day one digital games on your console. I'm not saying it's going to be widespread, but I would not put it past these sorts of situations to happen. Or what if on the very day one, midnight release, they've got the whole server thing is down for system maintenance. But just to continue to throw mud in our eyes, EA has decided to backpedal without trying to admit that they are backpedaling on the whole microtransaction thing. You know how I know this is how this is? Well, I don't know for certain, but let's just say I'm trying to call a spade because remember Dead Space 3. Dead Space 3 had a very easy exploit that completely undermines the microtransaction system. Because it's so public, EA decided, yeah, maybe we won't patch that. And they tried to say, oh, we didn't actually miss that in playtesting. We didn't actually, well, that would be assuming they playtest anymore, and I really doubt that with the way that modern gaming is going, but I digress. We meant to do that. You know why they said that? Not because they actually meant to have that happen. I doubt very, very highly they meant to have that happen in Dead Space 3. They realized rather smartly, just like in this situation here, they realized that if they patch it, they're just going to show their hand like the greedy bastards we know EA to be. So rather than becoming a punching bag and to avoid a PR nightmare, they decided to let us have our cake and eat it too. Because, again, it would be bad for them if they patched it. And this I look at as being no different. Not because I want to see the bad in EA. Again, as I've talked about, EA does a lot of good things in certain social circles. That does not, however, excuse them when they still act like scum when it comes to business practices in the gaming community. So here's what EA is trying to say now. EA now says not all games will have microtransactions. EA's Blake Jorgensen backtracks on recent statements, and I'll read his actual statement so that you can understand what was said that we just all misheard or misread, but I'll get to that. Electronic Arts was in hot water recently on their views for microtransactions coming to everything they do in the future. Well, the company looks to be backtracking a bit as EA's CFO Blake Jorgensen clarified that they meant at the 2003 Webbush Transitional Technology Conference this week. Quote, I made a statement in the conference along the lines of, well, will have microtransactions in our games, And the community read that to be all games, and that's not true, stated Blake. Oh, Blake, Blake, Blake. Let's look at what you actually said. I think ultimately those microtransactions will be in every game, but the game itself or the access to the game will be free, he told court takers. Ah, I think there's an inevitability that happens 5 years from now, 10 years from now, that let's call it the client, to use the term, is free. It's free to walk. It's free to me to walk into the Gap at a local shopping mall. They don't charge me to walk in there. I can walk into the Gap and enjoy the music, look at the jeans, and what have you. But if I want to buy something, I have to pay for it. Moore added that $60 games will survive in some way, but they're due for scarcity as billions of users are brought into the industry and called gamers. I could go on and on and on, but yeah, no, we just misheard you, right, Blake? We just misread you because, again, we want to believe the worst of your company. And I don't. I just don't like the business that you do. And when you do stuff like this, just like you did with Dead Space 3, and act as if, oh, we meant to do that. Meanwhile, you're going, crap, this isn't going to work like this. But we can't patch this because if we patch this, we'll show ourselves for the money-grubbing scum screws that we are. Evidently, what he initially meant was that all future mobile games will have microtransactions, as all their mobile offerings will be free to play. Oh, don't worry though, EA will continue adding to the $60 cost on console and PC games. Quote, we're going to see extensions off of products like Battlefield Premium, which are simply not microtransactions. They are premium services or additional add-on packs or download that you're doing. It is essentially an extension of the gameplay that allows someone to take a game that they might have played for 1,000 hours and play it for 2,000 hours. We want to ensure that consumers are getting value. So did you hear that? Oh, no, don't listen to that word, microtransactions. It's not microtransactions, it's premium services or additional add-on products. That's what we're trying to add value. Don't you want value added to your game for extra money? As exciting as next gen can potentially be, speak for yourself, author, I worry about how much more chopped up our game experience will be. I don't want to live in a future where more games will cost over $500 worth of content to purchase. I just think that's so underhanded. This one was more transparent. This backtracking was much more transparent than Dead Space 3, but it doesn't make it any less slimier just because it's a little more transparent. You can completely tell that they're trying to play a game of semantics to make us look like fools for being naysayers to the microtransaction systems and to try to make us look like we're bigots against their company, that we're putting words into their mouths. Well, Blake, I, as well as many who support my messages here in the gaming community, want to tell you in no uncertain terms that you, and to some extension EA, can eat us, okay? Because I'm not buying into it. I'm not enjoying these games. I'm not going to enjoy these games if you're going to say, well, would you rather have more expensive games, or would you rather have $60 games that in order to unlock certain levels, in order to unlock certain advantages in the game much earlier, you pay us extra money? That means that we're still paying you the inflated prices at the end of the day. You're practically saying it in black and white. So no, I'm sorry. You can keep your next gen gaming. You can keep your next gen PC gaming on some level if SimCity is going to be what you guys are offering.